Oh, good evening and welcome back to West Ham Network and the Old School Hammers with my pal to my left, Kieran. I got it right this time. Look.
Brother.
Hey, yeah, how you doing, brother?
Good, mate. Good. Very nice. Very nice.
Excellent.
How you?
I'm all right, mate. You know, yeah, it's not that time of the week yet for me to get low and, you know, tired. It's still early in the week, so we're all good. We're all good. We should be getting ourselves a little special guest soon, hopefully, when he's available. I'm not going to spoil it just now, but when he comes in, I'll bring him onto the screen and we'll have a proper discussion. Right, let's just quickly have a look, see who's in the chat, and then we'll get to the weather report and Simon, good evening to you, sir. Thank you. Oh, good morning to you, sir. Good day, gents. Melbourne Hammers tuning in. Weather report. Here we go, straight away. Cool and 20 degrees. No wildlife incidents, but Victoria have had people falling or pushed out of hot air balloon trips.
Yeah, mate. The geezer down in Melbourne, right? He said, I couldn't help but laugh. Right? I had to laugh because it came up on the news. A guy had fallen out of a hot air balloon, you know, when they do the tourist flights. Yeah. And obviously, you know, they're not saying he just jumped, but he did just jump. But he landed in a suburb, right? In between the houses on the road.
Oh.
Fuck's sake, mate. Right in the middle of a street, you know? And I just, what made me laugh was they were interviewing, you know, they go around interview the bloody neighbours for whatever reason. You know, what the fuck they going to say? And the guy went, mate, if he'd have been like 50 metres the other way, he would have come straight through my roof. And I just, that made me laugh. He was more worried about his roof than the geezer splattered all over the road. Yeah, the poor fucker. I don't know.
It doesn't matter of fact that, like, just round the corner there were a lot of kids playing football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, the roof was more important, mate. It just made me giggle. But yeah, not funny, really, is it?
No, not at all.
But,
not at all.
God, now there'll be a big push to stop air balloon flights or something.
Yeah, therein lies the lesson. If you're going to jump out of an hot air balloon, do what I did. Wear a parachute.
Yeah, that's what maybe if you just forgot. She got bad memory.
Maybe a balloon trip should be organised for Moyes and Sullivan. Yeah, nice one, Simon. Love it. Good evening, Steve. Evening all. Stress-free weekend coming. Well, yeah, stress-free, but bored to tears.
Hey, Steve.
Mark, good evening to you, sir. Good evening, fellow codgers. VAR can't fuck up our
weekend. We're good. We're good this weekend, Mark. Unless you've got to watch fucking England and get depressed watching them fuckers as well. But I'm not too bothered about them these days. But
what about the rumour of Gareth Southgate might be going to Man United?
Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? It'd be even funnier if he went to Arsenal. But, mate, I would wet.
Yeah, Man United be a good place for him.
Yeah, correct. Oh, good evening, Happy Amaret.
Happy H.
Oi, Hammer and Fuckface.
Oi, do you know, I think it might have been, was it Danny's way as well? Simon's way? Fair play to this girl, right? And this is something, you know, there's no shark attacks this weekend, geezer. But what's more dangerous here is the surf, right? And I've been saying this for so many years, right? Because, you know, I got caught up in it once, and only from the guy that Surf Lifesaver that I used to work with told me if I ever did get caught in a rip and sucked out, how to get out of it, right? Which I did. So,
yeah.
and there was one the other day. She was walking on the beach, this woman, right, and see three of them, and they was obviously not swimming near the flags where the lifesavers are. Three of them were drowning, and she fucking dived in, mate, and dragged all three out. She got one by one, got them to the beach.
Wow.
One of them seriously ill. One of them died. He drowned, and she saved the other one. Right, and they were Indians, right, and I presume Indian tourists. This is what I've been saying for a long, long time. When you come to Australia, you need education about the surf. It is dangerous. You go out there thinking it's not a problem. Next thing, you can't get back, and then you panic, and then you struggle like fuck. Even if you're a good swimmer or not, don't matter. And you're fighting against that rip that's pulling you out, and they get tired and they panic and they drown. And this is what happened to these three. Now, only for her, all three of them would be dead. So fair play to her, mate. She got out there, but it is dangerous to surf here, mate. Surprising.
Good evening, Lawrence. Thanks for joining us, mate, from Lexington.
Hey, Lawrence.
And Brendan. Good evening, Budgie, Kieran, and Chaz.
Hi, Brendan.
Mark says hi to Happy, and everybody's saying hello, Happy. Stuart Burt's in the house. Hi, Budgie. Hi, Kieran.
Sure.
From Essex. Nice. Happy says Antonio declined Jamaica call up. So I've heard. Reason given being he's only just returned from injury he received last November when he was playing there, and he knows how important our running is. Okay. Well, if that's true, then fair play to him. Fair play to him. The interview I saw with him after the Freiburg game, he was saying that he was going. So, you know, I hope that is true, though. I hope he's declined to go. Charlie Boy's in the
Charlie Boy. How you doing, brother?
Hello, Charlie. Thank you for joining us, mate. I know you're either still at work or on your way home, so thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated, buddy. I've got hot air balloon ride booked for my mum's bucket list next month. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, they are a really popular thing here in Australia, mate. And here on the Gold Coast and the hinterland and even over Brisbane. It is. I know a lot. I haven't been on one, actually, but I know a lot of people that have. They love it. They think it's fantastic. The views are, fabulous. It's a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, like I said, I have been up in a balloon twice, and both times I didn't come down with the balloon. I jumped out with a parachute. But I was like in the RAF then when I was a young lad. Yeah. And you know, that was a day out for us after we'd been doing our 6 weeks basic. They just basically treated us to a couple of parachute jumps. Well, those, and then that led up to jumping out of a Hercules as well, which was really good fun, running off the back of a Hercules. That was brilliant. Everybody's saying hi. Bowen versus Paqueta. In what respect, Mark? We're not playing Brazil, are we, in any of these friendlies? Bowen probably won't get much game time anyway, so explain what you mean by that, please, Mark. That sort of intrigues me. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining us. Lynn says,
"G'day, Lynn.
Always looking forward to your show. Always do. Thank you very much. Really cool of you to say." All right. Okay. So, he's asking, would we prefer Bowen or Paqueta to be playing?
What? Playing darts or what?
Well, I don't know, but yeah. Wally's in the house. Good evening, Wally.
Hey.
Leslie, good evening to you.
Hi, Leslie. That's nice.
Yeah. Everyone's saying hi. Mark says, I think Bowen won't get many minutes. Southgate is a knob. Yes.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Whereas, Paqueta will get probably as many minutes as he wants for Brazil because of the form that he's
he
in.
does or he doesn't, mate.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
right.
he's in good form at the moment, and Brazil like to play players that are in form. They always have done. They always will. They're not like England where they'll go and play. What's his name?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire's or whatever. Happy says not so useful. Yeah, fair enough. Respect your service, Budgie. Thank you very much. I've got to be honest, it wasn't very long. 3 years is long enough. So, for me, it was anyway. Good evening to you, Hammerette. Always enjoy your comments.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, Lynn. Jesus, some of them are fucking rubbish.
Right, we're gonna start moving on towards the subject at hand in a moment. In the second leg in Europe, I'm hoping to be there at the London Stadium. Stuart,
Lovely.
I will be there. I've already been asked if I'm wanting my ticket, and I've said yes. So I will be there. In fact,
Bring it on, mate.
I'm trying to wrangle a way of being at the away game as well, but that's not always going to be possible. Wally says, jumping out of a balloon. Good grief, budget. Yep, I did twice within 3 hours of each other, actually. Mr. Bong's in the house. Good evening, James. Thank you for popping in, sir. My bad, was meant to seem to be so crude. Wasn't meant to seem to be so crude.
I think we'll get away with it.
Yeah. England, Brazil, Saturday, Budge. Is it? Okay.
I didn't even know what the England games were, to be honest. Is it a friendly, eh?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, if the question is Bowen versus Paqueta,
well, it could be bloody.
I suppose it is
Rice
because
versus Paqueta.
Yeah, but when you think about it, Bowen's usually out on the right wing. We play Paqueta on the left wing, but normally he's a number 10.
They play in the middle for them.
They play as a 10 or an 8 for Brazil.
An 8, yeah, one or the other. I think they play him as an 8 more so, but
yeah, they do because he's more creative.
Well,
behind the front line.
I think he might come up against Rice more so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Calvin Phillips maybe. No, he's not even been picked, I don't think. Yes, thank you, Happy. I did get that. Bedfordshire Hammer. Good evening, sir.
Hello, mate. Bedfordshire.
Yeah. WHU 58. How are you, sir? Charlie boy says, who you guys have winning the Euros?
Yeah, mate.
Oh.
I think England have got a great chance, boys. I really do.
We have.
Southgate worries me. Southgate's the only hole.
Yeah.
We've got the team to do it. France have got a good side.
Which is why he's perfect for. Which is why I think he's perfect for being Arsenal's manager, because Southgate's the one that bottles it. Do you know what I mean? He really does bottle it, and
yeah, he might suit them.
Arsenal. He'd be perfect at Arsenal.
As long as we don't get him, mate, I don't care. Jesus Christ.
Thoughts
rather stick with Moyes.
Possible new investor. I don't really know much about it. I've heard some speak of it, but I don't know enough to have any thoughts on it. I've got to be honest. It's not something that I really want to get into, if I'm honest. Oh, hang on. Did I miss Keith? I haven't seen his name. Keith Hay was hoping to bump into you at the weekend. Dodgy said you were up DNS. Oh, right, okay. Okay, all right. Right. Okay, right. Listen, let's get on to the subject at hand then. When I was in the service, they didn't have aircraft. Yeah, and we used to send messages by pigeon. Right, let's just kill that there for a minute. Okay, right. So we're going to be talking about. Good evening, Jeff. Thank you for popping in, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. We're talking about basically VAR and the referees stroke officials during games. Now, I'm not pointing out and specifying any particular game, although the game against Aston Villa is a perfect case in point. So I was hoping we was going to have a special guest in before, but he hasn't arrived yet. So
he pops in, we can have his thoughts afterwards.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Because
good evening, Ray. Thank you for joining us, mate.
hey, Ray.
Yeah. So we've got well, I'm getting confused here.
Well, let's get into it, Budge, because I just want to.
Hang on a minute. Yeah. Okay. Right. So clearly, I was thinking about a different Keith. I was thinking about Keith Knight. You know, I thought he turned up. That's all. So yes, that's right. Okay. Right. So anyway, let's talk about, in general, do we think that VAR has been helpful to the game, first of all? And if not, why hasn't it? I mean, we've all got our own thoughts on that. So kick us off, Kieran. What are you saying, mate?
Well, if the question was, has it been helpful? If you want to go by enforcing the rules and not making fuck-ups, it has. It does work. It does work. My question would be, has it improved the enjoyment of the game? And that's a definite no. It's absolutely not. I think it spoils a lot of the enjoyment of the spontaneity of goals, the celebrations, the waiting. I don't think it has. If you want to just look at it as rules, at least 90% of the time they get them right. And in specific to us against Villa. Now, I watched the stream here. I think it was Michael Owen on it, Don Hutchinson, and they brought in a referee. I forget which one it was. But they went through them two decisions, right? The two handballs at the end. And I mean, really went through it. And at the end of it, they got to the right decisions on both of them. They were both handballs. The first one hit Antonio in the hand, just hit him. He had his hand in it by his stomach. It hit his hand and it went in. You know the rule is if it touches any part of a hand, goes in, it's not a goal. So they're right. The Souček one. The interesting bit about the Souček, coming from the referee there was, if that hit Souček's arm accidentally and then hit Bowen and gone in, that would have been given a goal. But they went through it, and that's why they sent him to the screen, is in their opinion, it wasn't accidental, Souček's. He moved his arm to the ball to make it go propel it forward. Yeah. Right, there's no ifs or buts about it. He did. He did. Then it hit Bowen. So the referee looked at it. He thought it was an intentional movement to the ball, and it was. When the biggest headache of it, why it took so long, I don't know. As soon as I saw that angle behind the goal where the post was, you could see Souček move his arm towards it. You know what I mean? The disappointing bit for us, both goals were given by the referee because he couldn't see what went on. So the VAR, if you want to look at the rules thing, they got them both right. He got them both right. And they went against us, which was sickening. But there was the other one earlier on where mate, he kicked it against Emerson's arm, where he had his hand out pointing, and this bullshit fucking rule about your hands not being in a natural position. I've never heard anything like it in my life. That bollocks. To me,
Yeah.
it's natural for him because he's pointing to his other player to cover what he
Cover
can't.
where he's not
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
he is in. That is natural.
And the player that had the ball deliberately kicked the ball at Emerson.
That's what it looked like, Butch. That's what it looked like. So fair play to that referee. He didn't give it. Now I know there's other referees. This is the problem in the Premier League. Would have given that. They would have given that penalty, and the VAR, once he'd given it, would never have overturned it.
No.
So this is the inconsistencies we're dealing with VAR. And if you really want to know whether you like VAR or not, I watch a lot of the championship highlights, of the games. And when you see a goal in the championship, mate, the players look to the linesman. If that flag's not up, if the referee's pointing to the centre circle, that's it. You know what I mean? You've got nothing else to worry about. Yeah. Every time we score a goal now, I'm thinking, wait, you've got to wait and think, what's going to happen here? And I must have had a premonition in that one. When Ward Prowse went to send that ball in, I said to myself, even if this goes in, I don't think they're going to allow it. That's before he took the free kick. And it went in. I went, oh, no, maybe. Oh. And then it started. 5.5 fucking 6 minutes of VAR bollocks. It's a pain in the arse. They got to the right decision, in my opinion. But to me, it's spoiling the game.
Far too long.
It's not. It's ruining enjoyment.
Also, during the same game, who was it? Alvarez got a yellow card for kicking a ball that was dropping down out of the sky. After the whistle had gone, he kicked the ball.
Yeah,
got a yellow card for kicking the ball away.
That's right.
A while later, that whatever his name, Zaniolo, kicked the ball away from a dead ball. It was stationary, and he kicked it away.
Yeah, he did.
And he was already on a yellow card, and the referee didn't even pull him up on that.
He bottled it.
He did completely. So this is why, as I said, that the Aston Villa game is a case in point, because there are so many inconsistencies in one game alone. Whether you're a West Ham fan or not, there are inconsistencies with the officiating at that game, and it happens at so many other games as well. I mean, I've had that.
One of them, but if he hadn't have been on a yellow card, Budge, he would have given him a yellow card.
Yeah.
He bottled it. Rather.
Yeah. There we go. Right. Okay. So we have now got our guest in the studio. So let's hide that and bring him in. Here he is. Good evening, Keith. How are you, sir?
Hello, mate. Hello, chaps.
G'day, Keith. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm very good. Well,
good.
As good as can be expected, really. What's going on with these referees?
Yeah.
No, mate. Nothing's new. Look, the referee done well. He gave us 2 goals, mate. It weren't him. It weren't his fault they took them away.
Yeah.
I think the standard of refereeing in the Premier League over the last 4 seasons has been progressively worse. It's got worse and worse, and they're trying to recruit new referees in quickly because they're losing referees. I mean, like the Football Association and all the county FAs across the whole country are losing referees. People are not wanting to be referees, and why the hell should they? At grassroots, you're being paid £10 to receive threats and God knows what else.
Yeah.
The Premier League referees, I mean, I'll tell you what, I'd be a Premier League referee because you know how much these guys are being paid. Shall I tell you how much these Premier League referees are being paid?
Go on.
And they're on good money.
Yeah, I've got it here. The Premier League referees went professional in 2001, so our referees are now professional full-time referees.
Exactly.
They are paid a starting salary of 70 grand a year.
Nice.
and that progresses depending on experience and length of service. So, for example, Anthony Taylor, everyone knows Anthony Taylor.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
He's on about £100,000 a year at the moment. Now, that's before he's even put on a pair of shorts and packed his cards in his top pocket. Okay, he gets that 100 grand regardless of whether he's actually running around a football pitch or not. Because
Yeah.
when he referees a Premier League game, he gets £1,500 as a match bonus. Right?
Nice.
Assistant referees get 30 grand a year, and they pick up £850 a match bonus.
wow.
Nice.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you there for 1 second, Keith? People are asking in the chat which Keith it is. Yes, it is Keith Knight. Mark Pennington got it right.
Sorry, chaps.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is. Sorry, that's my bad. I should have introduced you properly.
I've spelt my name the Cockney way. Now, I qualified as a county FA referee in about 2005.
Right.
And I refereed at grassroots, but I've also refereed at. I'm also a FOMOA referee, which is the Football Association's Match Officials Association. So apart from wearing my county badge, I also wore the FA badge, which is the three lions.
Right.
Instead of saying England, it will say the FA, because the reason why the FA is capitals is because county football associations are all part of the FA, but the FA are the big bosses. They are the governors. They are the ones that rule everybody, every referee, and football in general.
Right.
So I've worked for the FA. I've been effectively been employed by them. I've done all the child protection courses and the equality and diversity courses. I've done all that. I did my 2 badges, and I've refereed from under sevens right the way up to Veterans League. So I've done everything, male and female. So I've done. I was on the Kent Youth Cup League, the Kent Schools League. So I've done a lot of cup finals. I actually had a referee medal from a cup final presented to me by one and only Mr. Neil Razor Ruddock once, who actually he was presenting the trophy at a cup final at Ashford Town FC back in the day, and when he realised that he'd have to give the referees a medal, he actually said over the microphone, "Oh no, I haven't got to give the fucking refs a medal." I
can imagine that.
Yeah.
And so I just walked up to him and just said, "Razor, I'm an hammer. You don't mind giving me a medal, do you?"
But with that, the wages though, mate,
disgraceful.
Everyone was crying out for them to turn professional at the time.
Yeah,
if I remember, Keith. It had to happen, didn't it? It had to happen. We needed more professional referees in the game. Now, I don't mind them getting that money, mate. When I think of the ridiculous wages that players are on, they're getting that a week. Players, you know what I mean? These are getting it in a year.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't have a problem with them getting the money, but I just would like to see the standard raised. And maybe it is raised, and maybe it's just us as football fans. As soon as a decision goes against us, we blame the referee. I think it's made it harder with this VAR. I'm not sure it's made it easier.
The problem is quite simply, VAR was introduced to stop referees. They use the word assist, all right, but let's be absolutely brutally honest about this. It was to stop making referees making stupid fucking mistakes. Referees making stupid mistakes over offsides. So VAR was introduced solely to correct the offsides decisions, and that was the whole purpose of VAR being introduced. Now, so VAR was being introduced to help referees from stop making stupid mistakes over offsides. But the decision in the control room on the VAR cameras is being made by the very same retired referees that VAR was introduced. The fuck ups. So
that was my issue with it, Keith.
Yeah.
The same people were just getting our jobs for the boys just moved upstairs, and
absolutely. Yeah.
But I will say, I do believe VAR get 90% of it right. You know what I mean? They do. I just think it's not helping the enjoyment of the game. It's just not.
The problem for me, mate, is that VAR is now gone beyond its remit. It's gone beyond what it was
Well,
introduced
that's
for.
what. Yeah, exactly that, key. What is the remit? They're looking for every goal to disallow it, aren't they?
That's it.
Every goal looking for a reason. And I don't think that was there for that. But
Yeah. All right, happy. Yeah. I mean, as far as the handball law goes, I mean,
that is a farce.
people talk about rules. There are no rules in football. Okay, there are laws. It's called the laws of association football, or the laws of the game. Now, the handball law, there is no such thing as the handball law anymore. It's the handball laws with the S.
Exactly.
Because there is no such thing as handball now. There are several types of different handball. And what they've done is they've complicated the handball law by adding these little branch offs to it. So it's such a grey area. Now I'm a qualified referee. I'm retired now. I'm fully qualified. I still keep up on the changes to the law. I've got a copy here of the updates to the law in 2023-24 season, which is where we are. I've read the handball law. I don't understand it. And I'm a qualified referee of 20 fucking years, and I don't understand it.
No.
It's massively open to interpretation.
One thing I will say, this handball law, Keith, that I can't get my head around. This is my interpretation of a part of it, and you can only say a part of it. See, Antonio, he hit his hand, goes in the goal. Fair enough. It's not a goal. So that is the rule, because he's going to give that as handball, whether he meant it or not. He didn't mean it, but he hit his hand, and that's the rule. I got that. But
that's what I disagree with.
Right. Now, make Antonio a defender in that scenario. He's got his hand by his chest or his stomach, right?
Yep.
So it's never going to be given. But if it hits his hand there, right, then for the defender, the rule's different. That isn't a penalty. Yet, if he's the attacking player, it is given as a handball. So you're making a rule that's different for the defender than it is for the attacker. That doesn't make sense.
That is absolutely spot on, mate. That is absolutely spot on. And that's why I said it's no longer the handball law. It's laws. Because it's situations. Yep, you're absolutely spot on right. Because the law was changed to say that if there was any build-up to play that led to a goal, if any part of that build-up, there was any contact, the sleeve down, and that's something I'll get to later, this whole sleeve down bollocks, then it's handball.
The only thing, where the referee was on the stream I was watching it in Australia, Keith, he did say it. He supposedly knows the rules. What is handball law? When Souček, he did deliberately handball it, right, and then it hit Bowen and went in. But he did say if that was accidental by Souček, and then it hits Bowen, it would be given.
Yeah.
So he believes it can hit your arm as long as it's accidental, as long as another player scores the goal.
It can. It can.
You know what I mean?
Because the season before last, I think it might have even been last season. But in recent seasons, when that initial handball law was changed, or adjusted, to say that any handball in any of the build up to a goal meant that goal was disallowed, which I think is manifestly unfair. I think that's
we lost a few goals over that, if I remember, didn't we?
It's just nonsense. So if the ball hits a defender there and the referee doesn't deem it to be a deliberate handball, and that defender hoops it up to a striker, it takes about 3 or 4 touches and ends up in the back of the net. VAR take it right back to that initial defender. And they say, no, it's handball. But the referee didn't give it as handball on the field. But because it's led to a goal, it's got to be handball. Therefore, it's punishable and the goal's disallowed. That, to me, is absolute bollocks. That's nonsense. That's an absolute mockery.
But he seems to be saying now, because they have made that change, the accidental handball now that leads to a goal isn't going to be penalised. According to that referee on the stream I watched.
Well, this is the thing. There is no such thing as accidental handball. It's either handball or it's not. This is the thing. It's either intentional or it's not. And what they're using as their benchmark now is whether the arms are in an unnatural position. Now, Souček fell over. Souček fell over or was pushed or whatever, but he fell over. He was going head first. He was on the ground. There was half his body over the goal line, and the other half of his body and his arse and his legs were sticking out into the 6-yard area. Right. Now, I defy anybody, I don't care what team you support, what profession you're in, I defy anybody, stand in your garden right now, keep your hands firmly tied behind your back and fall forward on your face without putting your hands out or without turning your body at the last minute so you don't go face planting. It is human instinct to put your hands out. So Souček falls on the floor. His arms are out to support himself as he's falling. If the ball hits his arm, how can they say his arms are in an unnatural position when basically
the amount of times I watched it though, Keith, this is subjective, as you know, but I do believe Souček moved his arm to the ball to propel it forward. It hit Bowen, went in. If he hadn't moved his arm forward to propel it, apparently according to this referee, it hits Bowen, it would have been given. But I do believe Souček meant that to stop it with his arm. I think it was an instinct reaction with him, just instinct, trying to get his body to get something on it to stop it coming out.
And this comes back to the other thing that's written down in the laws of the game, that it has to be clear and obvious. Well, frankly, mate, no disrespect, because we're all West Ham fans here, we're all friends. What you think was going through Souček's head and what I think was going through Souček's head,
we don't know.
Irrelevant. It's right. It's not clear and obvious to us. So how can it be clear and obvious to anybody?
Well, this is another stupid thing. Clear and obvious is another stupid phrase that's being used. If it was clear and obvious, it shouldn't have took 5.5 minutes to fucking come to a decision, or 6 or 7 minutes.
That is exactly the point.
As a grassroots referee that didn't have any of this technology, I mean, not that it happened professionally when I was reffing anyway, but there were certain things that did happen. I mean, I would referee games, and I quite often wouldn't have assistant referees because neither of the two teams could provide somebody that would run a line for me. And then I'd have players screaming at me, offside, ref, and I'd have managers screaming, offside, ref, I would say to them quite clearly, if you don't provide me with an assistant referee, you cannot moan at me then when I've got an offside wrong. Simple as that.
We always accepted that. We always accepted that as players when I played in some of the leagues back in Essex and that. But if you could recall, then how many times over the years refereeing have you been called a wanker?
To be honest about it, not many times. I actually had.
No.
I was the East Kent football referee agent for Kick Racism Out of Football when it was still called Kick Racism Out of Football. Now it's called Kick It Out, but it's the same beast. And I was the first referee to wear Kick It Out badges on the sleeves of my referee's kit. And a lot of players noticed that. A lot of players noticed it, and they would be giving me a bit of a side eye, on the football pitch. What can we say and what can't we say? Well, the fact that players are cagey around me because I'm wearing those badges means that there's something wrong with them, not me. And I actually had a player come up to me before a game started, and he said to me, "So I'm not allowed to be racist, ref?" And no, not at all. What happens if I'm racist, ref? I said, "Well, I'll send you off. Simple as that." You can't do that. Yeah, I can. It's law 12, offence code S7, offensive, abusive, or insulting behaviour. It's a straight red card offence. Bye. And he went, "Oh, okay." He said, "Well, what am I allowed to say?" I said, "Well, you're allowed to call me a Cockney wanker if you want." And he went, "Well, can I call you a Cockney wanker then, ref?" I said, "Don't push it." but that's how I used to referee my games, with a smile. I always used to say to players, if I can finish this game with 22 people on the pitch, I'm happy, because it's not about me, it's about you. It's a football match, it's not a referee show. I don't give cards out to control a game. My whistle controls the game. My mouth controls the game. The cards are there for punishment. So if you behave yourselves, you won't get punished. But I don't want to be sending players off. That's not my bag. You know,
Yeah.
especially a works
So-
league, I don't be sending someone off and getting them a 70 quid fine when they've got like, you know, they're only earning about 150 quid a week. So
Yeah. Do you think then that the old referee's been sent up to VAR, and to me, I've never agreed. But I've always believed that we should have ex-professionals up there, footballers, in the VAR. Do you think that's a good idea, Keith, or you don't think that would work?
I think having a mixture of people there might help, but the problem is look at the ex-professionals that are pundits.
Yeah,
on
they are
BBC,
wankers. Fuck me,
Sky,
they're wankers.
Yeah, but
and
they
they
can't
are
agree on
so
anything
and they are
either.
so
Yeah,
fucking-
lately I'm starting to rethink my idea of them being in the VAR
Yeah.
after they've come at us
This is the
for
problem.
non-stop.
This is the problem. I mean, before I became a referee, I was actually a football medic for my nephew's under 14s team he played for.
You had the bucket and the sponge? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm actually a qualified emergency medical technician. So somebody once said that I had everything in my bag apart from an actual ambulance. So that gives you an idea about what I had in my bag.
You're a man of many hats, aren't you, Jet?
Yeah,
It's a handy thing to have, mate, in a football game.
Well, especially in a kids' game, yeah. Because I was actually called on a few times to render first aid to other teams that had injuries. Other pitches, and there was like no one there that's qualified to actually know what to do. But anyway, I digress. So I was invited by the club that I was a physio for. I was invited to take a referee course, and they paid for it. And it was somebody in the chat asked, how much did it cost to do my training? They paid £30. It was £30 to train to put me on a referee course. £30, and if you pass your course, if you pass the 2 sections of your course, you get that £30 back.
Really?
So, yeah, oh yeah. I don't know if I dare say it's changed now. It's probably a lot more now, but that's how much it was then. But the club paid for it. I didn't pay for it.
Oh,
and
great.
the referee course was in 2 sections. You got your part A and your part B. Your part A is the laws of the game. So you're learning the laws of association football. The second part, providing you pass the first part, the second part is the application of those laws. So that's then when you get your black and whites, which you have to buy yourself. You don't get your badge, you've got no badge, but you go out and under instruction, a bit like driving lessons, you've got a mentor, an FA mentor, and you go out and referee games under instruction. And providing you pass all those tests and then finish your exam, your written exam at the end of the course, you get your county FA badge. And then 6 months later, I qualified for my FOMOA badge, my FA badge. So it's cheap. It's cheap to become a referee, and of course you can earn money because it's all tax free. It's like I was getting paid £10, £15 a game. I think the most I ever earned was £30 a game. And I never treated one. I got things wrong. Of course, I got things wrong. Did I ever try and even things up if I knew that I'd made a mistake? No, never, because that would be me cheating. Then, if I actually knew that I'd made a mistake and then decided,
fuck me, I don't think any reasonable person in the world, no reasonable person in the world believes that a referee is not going to make a mistake. He is. And it's just the catastrophic mistakes they make is the annoying part, which is why they brought in VAR.
Yeah.
And I will say, 90% of the time, to me, 90% of the time it works. It works. But I believe it's spoiling the enjoyment. And if you want to realise that, just watch the championship. Watch it. It's so... And I don't know how many real bad mistakes they make in the championship, but it's a much more enjoyable game to watch without VAR. And to me, it's about the experience of football. We love football. We want to enjoy it. And if VAR's taking that enjoyment away, you've got to think about, well, what are we doing it wrong? You know, are we doing this wrong? Because I think we are. Now, I need one, Keith. I just want to hit you on this, Keith. You know, I played football up till I was 43. And I knew, as a defender, right, If he's in line with me, this bloke, he's going to be onside. There's no linesman in the world, right, is going to flag offside if your shoulder is offside. If your body is in line, it's in line. This is what does me. I know you have to pull a line somewhere, but if 90% of your body's on in line, really, that's onside to me. Yeah. It's but now we're getting to toenails and little shoulders.
Yeah, when they draw those lines, that irritates me because those lines are not accurate anyway. I mean, they're not. They're really not. But you're talking about hundreds of thousands of an inch. You're talking about fractions of a millimeter.
That's what I mean. The Antonio goal. I know the Ings goal, the Antonio chest the other day. I mean, when they drew the line, it was like 99% of his body was onside, but you're giving him offside for the 1%. It doesn't seem right, mate. It just doesn't.
This comes back to the abomination that is the handball law, because that spills over into the offside law, and I'll tell you why right now. Because they will say that they will look at the lines and they'll go, "Oh, his elbow's there. Look, his elbow's just past that player's calf muscle."
Yeah.
You cannot score a goal with your elbow, so you cannot give the elbow offside.
Yeah.
How on earth can they give that offside if you cannot score a goal with that? If you scored a goal with that, it'd be disallowed.
You're not allowed to
they're saying
in any way, shape, or form with it.
No, but I don't think they're saying they're not giving it for an elbow. They're giving it for the sleeve of the shoulder. The shoulder can, because now, Keith, this change of that, you can score with that sleeve. You can push it in with that arm, with the sleeve, and it's given, which was never before. That was always handball.
No, but let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. Handball now is anything below the sleeve. Anything below the sleeve line. Right. So what about if a player's wearing long sleeve shirts? Okay, I didn't mean to throw that spanner in the works. But it's just there. Let's just leave that there on pause for a minute. Now, I can buy an extra large shirt from the Hammer shop, and the sleeve will be there. Right? I can buy a 2XL, and the sleeve will be there.
Well, that's right, yeah.
So how do you measure then what is handball or not? If one player's wearing a shirt where the sleeves are
could be wearing it's just 2 inches longer, couldn't he, on the sleeve? If he's got it 2 inches longer or shorter.
Absolutely. A captain's arm badge makes that sleeve. Exactly.
You got to guess.
And some shirt designs are different from others. I actually heard one FA official say a few weeks back that it's also the badge. The badge that also draws a line to where the ball is. Now, right, listen, right. That would work if everybody's badge was the same size and dimensions. But how many badges are the same fucking? Sheffield United's badge is different from Arsenal's badge. West Ham's badge is a different size from Man United's badge. Some badges are that big. Some badges are that big.
Yeah, well, that's just nonsense.
Ours is a field. Man City's is a circle.
Official say? Yeah. How can an FA official say that it's the badge defines the length of the arm or the sleeve? Because again, I'll get back to the Paul's one earlier on. If a player is wearing long sleeve shirts, where do you say that his sleeve line is? Down here, so he's allowed to score a goal with that part of his arm, is he? Because his sleeve that comes down to there. So that makes it a legal goal if he.
Well, it's not. Well, we know common sense comes into it then, and he will give handball for it. We know
but there is no common sense, because when the law in black and white actually states something as ridiculous as that, and it's not common sense.
I'm not blaming the officials for this. It's the law that they've changed, and they've made a right pig's ear of it, and they've just made it so much more complicated than it needs to be.
I would be the first person to defend referees, the first person, because, hey, I might be retired, but I'm still a referee. I'm still on the books as a referee.
Yeah.
I'd be the first person to defend referees, but
I don't know how they.
It's the referees. It's the referees that are applying the laws. So it doesn't matter how ridiculous the laws are. It's the referees that are applying those laws. They They should have the balls to say, look, this is fucking ridiculous. It's making us
Exactly.
look stupid
Exactly.
week in, week out.
What the fuck?
You
We
know?
meant to do it. You've made it
But
too
when they're
complicated.
But when they're
You-
being paid 100 grand a year with a £1,500 a match bonus, are you going to argue with your boss? You're going to go, thank you very much, I'll take that.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
unfortunately, that's what's happening. I think,
Yeah,
unfortunately, what you're
we got
putting out
another
is
question
referees.
for you, actually, Keith. This
Go on,
is
mate.
quite a good
I'm
one.
sorry, I'm ranting.
No, you're all right. That's why you're here.
I am
That's
really,
why you're here,
I'm
Tom. That's why
really,
you're here.
I'm not going to defend referees or refereeing at all on here. I will
Right.
not.
Do you think that football refs should be mic'd up like the rugby refs are?
Absolutely, definitely.
And
Yep.
it should be completely transparent to us in the
Because
stadium.
they do it. They do it in rugby. They do it in cricket. And I'll go one stage further. And I've said this recently as well to various refereeing groups that I still kind of loosely associate with. I actually think that just like cricket, VAR should not intervene unless the match official requests it. Okay, the match official being the man in the middle, the match referee. Forget about all the other referees; they're assistant referees. The referee, the man in the middle, he should say, VAR, can you have a look at this for me, please? If he doesn't, then VAR should keep their fucking nose out of it, right? Because VAR are going beyond their remit. They are interfering with the match referee. They are interfering with the match referee's decision.
Yeah,
but
a lot
also,
of the time.
I'll go further to that. The players, both teams, each team at the start of every match should be given so many appeals. Just like in cricket, you're given so many appeals, and you can ask for VAR, like they do in cricket when they do that. You can ask for VAR to intervene, and if VAR confirms and that team's appeal is upheld, then they get that appeal back, so they keep that appeal. But if they lose that appeal, then they lose that appeal, so they're one down, and you only get so many each game. So rather than having 3 dubious goals disallowed in one game, you probably would have only had 1 goal disallowed, because Aston Villa are not going to be going like that for every single time the ball
I
hits the back
kind
of
of
their net.
understand where you're coming from with that, Keith.
And I think that would cut out a lot of the cheating, and it would cut out.
But for me, that's another step in the direction of turning the game into an Americanized sport.
Well, it's not, because it's cricket, and cricket is very much an English game.
But cricket is a very stop and start game. I can sit there for 6 hours watching cricket. It's a very stop and start game. You can't football. What we love football, it's forever in motion. It's forever going, and this is killing that. And I think if you start that, you might be doing it even worse.
But it isn't. It isn't forever in motion, because VAR has killed that. Three
well,
times.
that's what I'm saying. But this might even make it worse. I'm not saying it would, but it might.
It won't. I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it won't, because if teams know they've only got so many appeals, and VAR knows that they're not allowed to intervene unless they are appealed to or invited to by the match official, then the game carries on playing. Unless someone says, the captain of one of the teams says, "Ref, that was handball there. I think Antonio handballed it."
In them instances, yeah, I could see where it'd work in them instances, but it's stupid. The VAR does have to get involved in serious blunders. When if the linesman's missed an offside by a yard, they have to get involved. They have to say, "Look, ref, you really fucked up there, or the linesman has. You're going to have to."
Absolutely. For offsides, yes, because that's what VAR was designed for in the first place. But for everything else, I think that should be appealed. And the other thing that really grips my fucking shit is they've got goal line technology. And how many times have we seen over the last couple of seasons when the innocuous, has the ball gone out of play, or has the ball not gone out of play before it's been crossed back in and the ball's gone in the net? I mean, Arsenal had one, didn't they? We had a goal scored like that.
We had one against those,
Yeah.
Bowen. Now, what annoys me is they have goal line technology. So why did the person who decided to introduce this goal line technology not put the thing across the whole fucking goal line? Because let me tell you, the goal line is not just that bit that goes between the 2 sticks. On a field of play, the goal line is from corner flag to corner flag. That is called the goal line. So goal
Yeah,
line
but I do
technology,
think practically you've got the goal there to put all the sensors in around the post, where it makes it a bit awkward to do it all the way along the line. I'm not sure how you do it unless you put a post at the corner flag.
No, it doesn't. You've got the same technology, just extend it. The amount of money that's being the amount of money that's being generated by the Premier League, they could easily do
maybe
that.
you could. But we're going more. We look at the rules that have worked. That goal line technology is fantastic. It's was a great idea and a brilliant thing to bring in. And we're always changing rules as our game's gone on. One of the best rules we changed, well, it weren't for me. I was a right back, right? Was I couldn't pass it back to the keeper anymore. He couldn't pick it up. That was such an easy way out for a defender. Just give it back to the keeper. Right, and it was a great rule change. Be fair.
The fans would all boo as the keeper picked it up and bounced it.
It was a good idea, mate. And it has worked. It has made the game more attacking. And these rules worked, and so there are certain rules that have really worked. VAR is one of them. I don't think we're ever going to love it. We're never going to love it. But it's here to stay, that's for sure. We ain't getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So
Mark Pendleton's asking why the FA don't want semi-automated VAR.
Well, it's not the FA. I will just before Keith goes in on that. It's the Premier League chairman that voted against it, not the FA. They voted in the Premier League, all the chairmen, Brady and all the others, and they knocked it back. Why they did is that fuck knows. Because to me, it seems to work better when you see it in Europe or at these tournaments. There you go. Well, but that's for you,
I think, yeah. I mean, again, the automated line decisions, if you like, in tennis, works fine. It can detect whether a ball's on the line or whether a ball's over the line. Every player now wears. I mean, once upon a time, the argument against that would have been, well, you can't get the players to wear the technology. But every player now wears a bra, which has got all that technology inside it, which shows how many miles they've run or whatever, their heart rate, whatever. People think that's just a sports bra. It's not. It's actually technology.
You see the thing in the back, can't you? On the lump on the back, all the gear in it.
You could easily wire into that. The same technology that would then, a bit like in laser gun fighty thingy typey thing like paintball.
Yeah.
Where it bleeps when that player's when that player's been fouled. No, I'm not even going to go there because that's what will happen. It'll be like fencing. We'll end up having a bleep every time there's a contact.
We'll be playing FIFA soon. That'll be it.
I came up with a little idea earlier.
My battery's fucking.
Yeah, it was rubbish, Budge. Don't bother. It's rubbish.
Why? What?
I don't know. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah,
putting a microchip in their boots so that they can and have beams across the pitch. So that they can detect.
Hold on, chaps. For some reason, my hold on a minute, chaps. My
Yeah. No. Yeah, can take this up, mate. I think we could go on and making up ideas all day long, couldn't we, about how to do it properly? But it's just to me, it's just that. Is it spoiling the enjoyment of the game? And I think it is. And that's what I'd rather not. When I watch that championship games, I think they're much more enjoyable to watch without it, even with the blunders. I preferred it when it was mistakes were made. But having said that, I was moaning back then that the big clubs seemed to get them big decisions, and I don't think I was wrong. In the 80s, I thought the likes of Liverpool, Man United, they were getting decisions that we weren't.
Nothing's changed, Kieran. They're still getting them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes and no. Yes and no. They get done as well. The offside one they can't avoid, whether they like it or not. They just still get done.
No.
But anyway, don't have that.
I just think that I'm going to say I know this for a fact, and it sounds a bit like a Facebook. I know this for a fact, but I have actually been told this by friends and associates that are further up the refereeing ladder than I was, that they are given instructions at the start of every season on what to be doing and what not to be doing. And if that involves certain games and certain clubs, then that's what's instructed. I'm for fear of being sued by somebody, I'm not going to go any further than that. But all I will say is Mark Halsey, who's a long retired Premier League referee, who's no longer a pundit and he's no longer anything to do with football, I don't think, on a televised level. He was quoted a few years back as saying, one day the police will start knocking at Premier League referees' doors, and when that happens, God help all of us, or something along those lines. So, read into that what you will. I'm not.
There was one referee, Keith, that wrote a book and said that in the days of Alex Ferguson and all that, he was pressured into giving them 50-50 decisions. He actually stated that in his autobiography, that the pressure of it, they did get them decisions because they were under so much pressure. And and if he didn't give them decisions, he'd be hooked. From refereeing in the first division as it was.
Absolutely.
So I had no doubt that was going on. No doubt. I mean, you watched them, Man United in their heyday. They purposely, and it was a tactic. They didn't get a decision. They surrounded that referee. They bullied him in. So the next time a decision come, they got it. And you see Rio Ferdinand, you see loads of Keane and all that, just bullying him. It was a fucking disgrace, man. And they're allowed to.
Well, I've got to say this. I'm probably going to get slaughtered for it. I'm probably going to get absolutely slaughtered. People seem to treat Roy Keane as some team god. I absolutely hate that bastard with a passion. I don't think he was a great footballer. He was just a dirty, aggressive bastard. He was a good captain, but he would have been sent off in every single one of my games, because the minute he gets in my face and calls me a fucking cunt, that's when he's off the pitch. I don't. I used to say this to my players of all ages, especially the works leagues, the adults. Look, if you miss an open goal from 5 yards out and you go, oh fucking hell, what a cunt, I'm not going to send you off, right? Because that's frustration. I appreciate that's frustration. Okay, but
I said it a lot.
But if you get in my face and call me a fucking cunt, you're walking up the road.
Quite right. It's how it's directed.
Yeah,
I swear like a trooper, but I never swore once on my football fields, not in any game, not ever. And I used to say, you won't hear me swear for the next 90 minutes. So I do not want to hear you swear at me. It's frustrating. But the problem is, I don't think referees can understand the difference between frustration and nastiness. I think that's the
there is a difference.
And there's there will never be consistency. There will never be consistency. Never, ever. No matter how many times you change the laws.
I don't think
there will never be consistency, because as we've seen on this very program, Kieran, your opinion on certain things are different from mine. So if we were both referees,
a lot of it's subjective.
We would have different opinions, exactly, because it's down to that individual person. It's subjective to how you see it at the time. So
I just always one of the reasons, Keith, I'd like an ex-footballer in that VAR room, because sometimes you need to be an ex-footballer to know that that's not a foul, that the geezer took a dive. He just dropped his legs. Straight away. You don't need to see 20 replays of it. He's been tapped on the shin pad and he falls over. So that's why I think the input of a good ex-pro would be valuable in a VAR room, because I see it foul after foul after all week. I've seen West Ham do it. I've seen all clubs. We're not the worst. But you see when a guy just wants to drop his legs because he got tapped.
Be careful what you wish for, Kieran. Be careful what you wish for. We might end up with someone like Sam Allardyce in there.
Well, I just think that that input, not necessarily they're the main man in the VAR room, but to give that input to the guy who's watching it, who's a referee, and he can say, "Look, ref, mate, I know you might give that, but look, he's dropped his legs. Have a look. He got tapped.
I mean, yeah,
He didn't get
yeah,
cleaned up.
yeah.
He got tapped.
And I would say that as an extension of that, when players go down, when players simulate, when players effectively cheat,
Yeah.
Cheat. And that's what it is.
The offence now is simulation, like yellow card for simulation.
Yeah.
Simulation is just a very polite way of saying you're a cheating bastard. Any
Basically.
player that just falls over like that, it's like, you know, the amount of times we see it week in, week out, where a player gets and they go down and hold the same part of their leg every fucking time, rolling around. And yet, when you see the action replays, they've been hit in the ribs or they've been hit on the toe. They're hit on the toe and they're holding their fucking ankle. Oh, fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
And if the decision is not given, they're up and running about like as if nothing's happened. Now, I think when the ball goes out of play, the next time that the ball goes out of play, because the referee hasn't got the right to actually stop the game in mid-play for that. So when it goes out of play, VAR should be saying, right, we're going to go back and have a look at this simulation. This is what we think. Right, okay, he's dived, he's cheated, and that's a yellow card offence. There's no two ways about it. That's what the law dictates. And I think that would attempt to at least stamp out some of the fucking cheating. Because there's so much of it there in the Premier League.
Yeah, there is. And, you know, we've
Seeing
even got
too much,
players that are guilty of it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's not like we're being biased on that
No.
point of view at all. You know, the one thing that really comes to mind with me though is when these players are, for all intents and purposes, fouled in inverted commas, and as you know quite rightly said, you know, they're always holding the same part of their leg, or you know, they're rolling around like screaming and this and that, and then what I find really frustrating is, let's just say for argument's sake, you know, I'm going to use James Ward-Prowse as an example because he wouldn't do it, but he rolls around, he's holding his left leg, you know, he's like, you know, he's had attention from the team and this and that, and then play resumes and he takes the free kick. So he's putting all of his weight on his standing leg, which is the leg that has been injured. Do you know what I mean? How can you do that if you just had injury to your leg?
Look,
so
it's simple, right? This is where football's going, because every decision is crucial. That free kick could lead to a goal. You see every week in every team, a defender will come across, boot the ball out, right? His neck beats a player to it, the forward, kicks it out, right, for a corner, and then claims a goal kick. Every defender does it. It's the same thing. You're claiming it even knowing you kicked it out. The other thing that why players won't be honest, we've seen this many times as well, right? The bloke's gone through, beat the defender's caught him, fouled him, but he stays on his feet and then he misses. Now, and then the referee gives nothing because he missed. That he was fouled. If he'd gone down, he gets the penalty. So now, rather than being honest and keep on your feet and try and score, they'll just fall. Because there's no bonus for fucking being honest.
I totally agree.
You're getting penalised for being honest.
I absolutely 1,000,000% agree with that, mate. And I've said that so many times, and you are absolutely spot on, right? The amount of times I hear commentators say, "Oh, if it had gone down there, that's almost certainly a penalty," but he stayed on his feet and he just couldn't finish it. And I think to myself, but hold on a minute, it's still a fucking foul.
It's still a foul. The referee should still keep the foul. But
if I punch somebody in the mouth and they just go, "Oh, you rotten bastard," or if I punch somebody in the mouth and they go on the floor and their nose is bleeding like that, is one more serious than the other? No, it's not. They're the same person is still being punched in the fucking mouth, whether they bleed or whether they just go, "Oh, you bastard." You know, so a foul is a foul. It's a foul. The laws of the laws of the game don't say when a player is tripped, he must fall over and roll 75 times across the grass like Neymar holding his ankle. It just says a foul trips or attempts to trip an opponent. It doesn't say anything about falling over. So why the referee's not giving? Why the referee should be saying, I've played the advantage. You didn't score,
Exactly.
so I'm taking
You still fouled.
I'm taking that advantage. I'm pulling it back now, and it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Because a referee can play the advantage. We know that a referee can play the advantage, and again the law states that if advantage doesn't immediately ensue, a referee can call that back to the point of the original foul. Well, the same applies in that case. The same applies in that case to a penalty.
as they do in rugby union, don't they? He gets that advantage play till it suits, and then gives it. That's it.
So just because a player hasn't fallen over doesn't mean he's been fouled any less than if he had fallen over. So, it really pisses me off, mate. You know,
the end of the day,
£1,500 a game. I'll tell you what, I'd do it. I'd do it for 700. £1,500 a game. I'd do it for 700 quid. And I'll tell you what, even my old legs, I guarantee I'd do it.
Yeah, no, Keith. You're pushing it now, Keith. You're pushing it now. So.
I fucking guarantee it, mate. I guarantee it.
I reckon I could do a better job than they do.
It's common sense. It's absolutely common sense. And the problem is none of them seem to be exercising common sense. And getting back to the Villa game, you guys touched upon it while I was in the chat before I came on. The yellow card for Alvarez. Alvarez was fouled. Alvarez was assaulted, and yet Alvarez got a yellow card for.
He shouldn't have been a yellow.
Mavropanos got a yellow card for throwing the ball away.
He booted it away, that one, didn't he? He booted it away. And it was the other player that threw it away, and then he got nothing.
Yeah, because the other guy was already on a yellow card, so that would have been a second.
He bottled it down. He bottled it.
He would have had to have sent him off.
He should have sent him off, and he bottled it.
Look at the Man United Liverpool game in the FA Cup. Yeah, Man United's winning goal was scored in the 90 millionth minute, typical Man United goal, but scored in the 90 millionth minute by a guy that was already on a yellow card, and he takes his shirt off to celebrate his goal. So I was
going to ask you, because I only saw highlights here of that FA Cup, whatever it was, semi-final, quarter-final. When he took the shirt off, that silly bastard's getting sent off, but they didn't show it on the thing, the highlights I watched. He didn't get sent off.
He did get sent off, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
All right, I was just checking that because they never showed you whether he got a red card or not.
He was walking down the tunnel, giving it all that to the fans. He was still celebrating his goal with his shirt in his hand, walking down the tunnel where he'd been sent off.
Yeah, no, he did get sent off. What an idiot!
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, I've heard people say, oh, the referee could have some common sense there. You know, he's just scored the winning goal that's put him through to a semi. Oh, the referee's got to have some common sense. No, it's the law. It's the fucking law. You can't.
Mate, if I was his manager, mate, I'd be fining him a week's wages for being so stupid. That's what has to happen here.
The chance is he'll be banned for the semi-final now. So, but that's like that to me was good refereeing because the referee applied the law to its absolute maximum. You know, the referee did
to the letter of the law, as it were.
Yeah, to the letter of the law. Yeah, I'm all in favour of common sense. I'm all in favour of manipulating the rules to suit the situation. But in that instance, you can't do it. You take your shirt off, it's a yellow card offence. It's already on a yellow card, it's a red card.
There is
brave refereeing. That is a brave bit of refereeing to do that.
No, it should be. It should be.
Bit of refereeing, but fair play to the referee for doing it. And the referee at Upton Park, the referee at the West Ham Villa game, should have done the same. He should have
done the same. No, to me, it doesn't bother me if a fucking player takes his shirt off. I think they should review that rule and not give a yellow card. Forget it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect the game or affect anyone if he takes his shirt off. I think the reason that was brought in, if I'm right, you can tell me if I'm wrong. The reason that was brought in is because there was too many players with messages on the shirt underneath. Some of them political. And they went, no, that's got to stop. Yeah,
it was that combined with the IFAB, which is the International Football Association board, who make up the laws. It's not FIFA who make up the laws; it's the IFAB. They're the ones that make the laws of the game worldwide. And that's at every level. That's at grassroots right the way through to the top flight. The IFAB would never have had the balls to say it's because of political statements being made. They
No.
wouldn't have. So what they did was they cozied it up alongside players are throwing their shirts into the crowd, and then it's taking a few minutes for a replacement shirt to be brought out with their number on it, and of course it's got to have their name on it to comply with the current laws. And so it's delaying the restart. The yellow card is for delaying the restart of the game. So it's
Yeah. Fuck me, man. Look,
I agree.
but
I agree with you.
the game's moved on now. Now a goal scored. Every player in the bloody team has to have a huddle and a cuddle. That was, that's to me is a fucking load of bollocks myself. But every player has to have 2 minutes of celebrating, cuddling each other. I'd get rid of that.
It's quite sad. It's quite sad though, isn't it? Because all the players get in a big bundle, like the old-fashioned small bundle, pile on, and the fans are all going, "Hold on a minute, don't celebrate just yet, mate. VAR's got to spend about the next fucking 4 hours looking at it.
You make an idiot of yourself now. Stop it."
Yeah. Four times on Sunday, I was out my chair, fucking, come on, you, but, and then 3 times, I'm like, I don't fucking believe this. And then by the time they actually say it's a goal or it's not a goal, on the odd occasions when they say, "Oh yeah, VAR has decided it's a goal," the fans just sort of go, "Yeah, hooray!" It's just taken the enjoyment. It's just taken the atmosphere out of the game. It's sucked the life out.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point, Keith. It's the enjoyment part of it is what I don't like about VAR. I accept the technology. I think it's a good idea. But at the moment, the way we're using it, it's spoiling the enjoyment of the game, and that can't happen. That's got to stop. They've got to revise it, come up with a better idea. I think it is a good idea, but it's the way we're using it. It's not working.
I think that's kind of a universal assessment of VAR. I think you'll find that no matter who they support, most football fans are saying exactly what we're saying tonight, is that it's sucking the life out of the game. It's giving us no pleasure when our teams are scoring. I mean, the initial excitement, great. But now we know that just about every goal is being looked at now.
Yeah. Exactly. And I can say on that the Bowen goal that was disallowed, Budge. You know what I mean? When Ward-Prowse whipped the free kick in and it went in, I went, ooh. And I didn't move. I'm normally jumping off my sofa, running around the living room, right? And I didn't. I went, I'm telling you now, something's going to fucking stop this. Something's coming. And I waited. I had to wait fucking about 7 minutes. But it did. Yeah. That's it.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating. Yeah. It's sucking the life out of the game, and I don't want to get political and sound like an old man now because I know I'm in good company. We're all old men and wise and 3 wise men.
That's why it's called old school hammers, mate.
And, but it's a working class sport. It was done for a bit of relief on a Saturday afternoon after a working week. A bit of relief, have a few beers, swear your fucking arse off. Away from the wife and kids. And I know that sounds a bit sexist, but that's how it was. That's how it was in the 70s and certainly the 60s.
And plenty before as well.
And that soul has been ripped raw out of the arse out of our game now. It's you've all got to sit down. You're not allowed to stand up to watch games. You're not allowed to smoke in the stadium. You're not allowed to drink inside. You're not allowed to swear. If you swear, you're going to be ejected. Oh, seriously, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's
to be fair,
stadium.
the Trevor Brook in Lower take very little notice of the no standing rule.
Yeah, I think a lot of stadiums do. A lot of fans will ignore it.
Yeah. I mean,
even though I just noticed the other week, guys, the commentator said, was it Bournemouth they were trialling their safe standing at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Bournemouth or Brentford, it was a B. I'm pretty sure it was Bournemouth. They were doing safe standing in the Bournemouth game.
Brentford ain't got a big enough stadium to even trial.
No, but I mean, safe standing is what Celtic have got it. You know, there's no reason why we shouldn't introduce that now. No reason at all.
And there's
don't
that
that just really sum up how fucking ridiculous our society's become? Safe standing.
Absolutely. We've been overruled. We've become nanny states. Even here in Australia, mate, it's nanny states that there's a rule for everything. There's a new rule every week. Every week.
Can you
probably
stand
have
safely?
to wear all that
Can you be trusted to stand safely?
I just said in safe standing, you'll probably have to wear all that safety boots and a high jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, you're in danger there, people.
And now they're even banning Moyes out flags at
I know.
At the stadium.
And they're threatening.
Whatever happened?
They're threatening to take away your season.
I mean, whatever happened to fucking freedom of speech? If it said Moyes, you're a cunt, I can understand it because that's offensive. That's a Section 5 public order offence, by the way, chaps. if it just says Moyes out, then so what? People have got their right to have an opinion. Yeah. Whether I agree with that opinion or not doesn't come into it. People have got a right to have their opinion.
Of course, yeah.
And the whole game has just become. You remember the prisoner with what was his name? Patrick
McGowan.
That's what football's become. That is what Premier League football has become.
I think the world's become that.
I think the world has become that, but yeah, I was.
But look, the trouble is with these rules and everything else. What you say, we were a working class club, stemming from a factory, but now we're not. No club in the Premier League is that. We are a business with customers. With customers. That's how we're looked at these days. And every chairman who comes in looks at it as a business point of view, not as a football team, a local football team. It's not that anymore. So we've just got to accept that's how it's changed. And the Premier League done that. And the likes of Abramovich ruined, I think, English football with his overspending, his ridiculous transfers, his wages that he paid. It affected every other club. And they've continued doing it. And Man City have done it. And now they're bringing in rules to stop anyone else doing it. Amazing. So, there you go.
It just gets me that Nottingham Forest are being deducted points. Everton were deducted 10, and then it was just on appeal. It was transferred to 6. Nottingham Forest have done exactly the same thing that Everton did. Were deducted 4. So Everton are now thinking, well, hold on a minute, we were deducted 10 for the same thing that the Forest did, and it was reduced to 6, but we've still got 2 points more of a fine than Forest did doing the same thing as us. And both those teams complied with the FA and the investigation. Man City are not complying. They are objecting to it. They are stonewalling. They've got their best solicitors on the case. And so the FA and the Premier League, the reason why they're taking so long in making a decision is because the solicitors are stalling it. Well, so what? So
the only thing I'll say with that team
on the planet.
Everton got done right for being £19.5 million over the limit, right? And Nottingham Forest got done for £35 million over the limit. Yeah, Everton ended up being a 6 point, and Forest got 4. I find that strange. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem to equate.
There's no consistency in that either.
I think I've got to be honest. I think the whole thing's manifestly unfair because the team that's just come up from the Championship into the Premier League is not going to survive in the Premier League unless they spend. And quite often with Championship clubs, that means spending above their means, which means they'll be breaking FIFA fair play, just trying to keep even with the mid-table teams in the Premier League. And I think so. I think the FIFA fair play rules that say these teams can't.
Not saying that. They both pleaded guilty, right? There's no ifs and buts about that. That's why Man City and Chelsea is going to go on because they're not. They're fighting it, right? Yeah. But when you think, you've got to remember, when Forest did get promoted, they had a load of players on loan. loads of them, and they had to get rid of them all. So they had to buy a lot of players to compete, even though they deserved the 4 points because they bought Lingard, paid him stupid money, bollocks to them. But they do have a point that, you know, they were forced into a situation where they had to bring in a lot of players to survive, and they did. But again, the other side of the coin is they were warned by them in the next season, like, you bet this is your last go. You know, don't be going bonkers on spending too much money because you're treading a fucking fine line here. And what did he do there, Chairman? He went out and bought again, and then he went to 35 million over the top. He was warned, yet they did it. And if it weren't that Brennan Johnson, they could have sold him to Brentford before that time was up, but they only offered 27 million, and they held out for the 47 million from Tottenham. But that went over the time limit. So now that, you know, they did get the money, but it was too late. Yeah, but they made that choice, which you can understand why they held out for the money, but it would have stopped this financial fair play coming into play. So that, you know, they made their choices. Now they might think this is a good year to be deducted 4 points because they might still survive anyway.
Yeah, I just think the whole judiciary over this is back to the old Alex Ferguson sort of extra time wristwatch mentality, and I think Manchester City are facing something like 115. I've been found guilty of 115 charges, which they're and apparently
they're charged with 115 breaches.
Yeah, this goes back to more than 5-6 years. Like,
but they're contesting it. That's the difference. They're saying that.
Yeah, because they've got the most expensive defence lawyers on the planet, absolutely. And that's the only reason. Having an expensive defence lawyer does not mean that the defendant is innocent, Your Worship. It just means that you've got a very good solicitor. And of all people should know that. I've seen many guilty as fucking hell people get let off in court because they've had a wise-mouthed solicitor that's done the routine on the judge and jury. Manchester City will eventually get found guilty. I guarantee it. They will eventually get found guilty of maybe some of the charges, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah. But they will. But what will happen is they will get a huge, great fine, which they can easily afford, and they'll probably be deducted something like 10 points, which by the time they are deducted those 10 points, they will be a team that's in a position to make that 10 points up in 5 games, easy. 4 games, easy.
Well, we'll see what happens.
And this is the problem. So you're not actually punishing them. You're not actually punishing. It's like punishing a rich person by fining them £20,000 is a waste of time. It's a drop in the ocean. It's pocket change.
No, I think a better punishment is to deduct them points, but do what they did to Chelsea, put them on a transfer embargo for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
that's you.
Last week.
I think that Manchester City, if found guilty, which I'm sure they will be, they should be relegated, just like Rangers were.
I think they should be kicked out of the country, mate. Kicked out of the league, everywhere, mate.
No, look, Rangers were found guilty of
a fraction. They got
and they got relegated to the lowest possible tier of Scottish football and had to fight their way right the way back up to the Scottish Premier League, which is not hard. No disrespect to the Scots, but it's not difficult. And they are now back up in the SPL. But and Juventus, look at Juventus. They were kicked out of Serie A and put in the second tier. For the same sort of stuff. If Manchester City are not demoted down to the Championship, then there will be a massive injustice in the whole FIFA fair play judiciary. And that's just, I've got nothing against Man City as a concept, but I just think the whole new fans thing, and same as Chelsea, the new fans thing, and I'm going to be a bit controversial now and say West Ham to a certain degree, we've attracted a few new fans. We suddenly got these new fans that expect everything to be happening right away.
Well, this is why it's a business. I can tell you how it's going here, Dave. I'll tell you why it's about, and it's a lot about money. Since Big Ange has gone to Tottenham now, right? There's a massive interest here in Australia now because Ange Postecoglou's the manager of Tottenham, and there's a ticket company now. When I watch game, they're advertising all the time that you can sign up and they will get you games for Tottenham, whatever. They'll have tickets for you. You can sign up for a trip to Tottenham game, get a tour of the stadium. You have a ticket for the games, and they're guaranteeing you. And they said Champions League next year or Europa, so they're confident they're in one of them, and that you are guaranteed tickets to the Tottenham games from here in Australia. So that's where it's going. You know, I mean, that tourist money is big money, and they're looking for it. Yeah. They've even committed 3 days after the Premier League finishes, Newcastle and Tottenham are coming to Melbourne to play a friendly. You know, 3 days after Premier League finishes, and with a Euro year as well. I don't know if their Euro players are coming, but they're coming to Melbourne so they can play one game just to promote it in Australia to get, you know, sell tickets and interest and merchandise. So that's how it's going. It's a business.
We did, didn't we? We went over and done a tour in Perth, didn't we?
Perth, yeah.
And I've got a mate.
There's one for you, Keith. Fucking Perth. Perth's the other side of the fucking world to me. I'm on the east coast of Australia. That's on the west coast, right? It's a 5-hour flight. Now, before lockdown, we were booked in here for Brisbane, weren't we? I'd already had the fucking tickets, guys. There was 30 of us going to Suncorp Stadium to watch Brisbane play. Was it another team? Another team coming up in Brisbane. Brilliant. And then they fucking lockdown happened and they cancelled it all. So I couldn't go. And then I went to Perth, for fuck's sake.
Whereabouts are you, mate? Then what part of Australia are you then, mate?
In Brisbane, in Queensland.
Oh, Brisbane. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right at the other end. Yeah. No, I've got a couple of really good mates from two completely opposite ends of the. I'm an admin on a bass guitar Facebook group, and I'm also a vintage toy collector, as you can probably tell from all the shit that's behind me.
Right.
So I've got a very good friend of mine who's a vintage toy collector, and he lives in Port Hedland, which is about 16 hours south of Perth or west of Perth or whatever.
North of Perth, is it? Port Hedland?
Port Hedland. It's the tin mining community. Yeah.
I think he'd be out in Western. He's in Western Australia then, yeah.
Oh, it's Western Australia.
Yeah, it's Western Australia. Yeah, I think he's further north. Yeah, I think Port Hedland. Yeah, right up there. Yeah. Jesus, that's middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he recently went to a toy fair at Perth to sell a load of surplus stuff that he had in his collection, and it was a 16-hour drive.
16
hours. You guys in the UK, imagine that 16-hour fucking drive.
I've done more than that, Keith. I drove up to Cairns, and that took me 24 hours to get there.
My God, what driving?
Yeah. And you're
from Brisbane to Cairns, back then the road weren't as good. But it's probably about a 21-hour drive now. But back then it was
24-hour drive, and you're still in the same bloody country.
Yeah, and
I'm nowhere near the top, mate. Cairns is nowhere near the top end.
You get to the south of France from here.
Us fucking mainland stuck on the island Englishers, Britishers.
Look, I'm in Brisbane. If you look at Brisbane, right, it's in the middle of Australia on the east coast. Now, for me to drive to Sydney, it's 10 hours. For me to drive to Cairns, it's say 21 hours. Now, to get to the top end, you're talking another 20 hours to get to Darwin. The place is, it's a fucking continent. That's simple as that.
Yeah, we don't.
If you put the map of Australia over Europe, it covers most of Europe. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to get in my car right now and drive for 16 hours north, I'd be somewhere
North Pole.
Somewhere swimming in the ocean, just bobbing around the Shetlands, and I've still got about another 4 hours to go.
Yeah, it's pretty vast, mate.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking
incredible,
ball,
isn't it? I bet Brisbane's bigger than England.
Well, it's not in like there's only a couple of million here, goes, but area-wise, it's quite big. It's a very big area, Brisbane itself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. You can fit probably Queensland as a state. You'd probably fit Britain in it. 7 times, something like that.
Jesus
The state of Queensland. So,
no wonder everything that lives there wants to fucking kill you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what gets me. That's what gets me. The fucking spiders.
Oh, mate, all of them.
Spiders the size of a
snakes.
small car. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't mind snakes. But spiders. I can't do spiders.
Nah, spiders are all right, mate. They're all right. They're big. They're just bigger than normal.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even like the normal one. So bigger than normal, it's like, nah.
So when Kieran throws his hat over a spider, it picks it up, puts it on, and says thank you.
They're big, mate. Yeah, this is something you get used to, isn't it? Spiders and snakes. But lucky enough, we don't get snakes in our little part here. But I've seen plenty of snakes since I've been
So
here.
you've had no wildlife shenanigans over there this week, then?
This week goes on. No, there hasn't been. No birdies.
And
Doing
although
anything mental.
we got a weather report right at the beginning from the other fella, I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah, Simon. Yeah, only 20
Simon.
degrees in Melbourne, but we're still in 26. So we're coming into winter shortly. But we're going to hit 26 today. But in Melbourne, that gets fucking cold down there. You're talking snow and everything down there.
All right. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Well, look, we've been rolling for just over an hour and a half. It's been a real pleasure having you in the room, Keith. And your insight into
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's been great having your insight on the VAR and officiating, etc. And the information you've given us. It's been brilliant. It's been really nice to see you. Thank you for taking the time out this evening to join us. Kieran, as always, thank you, sir, for taking that time.
All right, brother. And I'll be catching up with you again next week, I imagine.
Or before. We say that every week, but we rarely speak between shows. So, well, not at the moment anyway. I'm bloody working.
Imagine if the three of us were in the same pub having a chat.
That's it, mate. Talk all night, couldn't we?
We'd just go on forever, couldn't we? Really? We'd just go on forever.
Definitely.
Good old days.
I once thought we should never have left Upton Park. Bollocks to VAR. That's where the problem started. Leaving Upton Park. Should never have left.
Yeah. Well, for me, that Europa conference. Sorry, Budgie. I've just got to say this.
Yeah.
I'm a great believer in sort of fate and sort of I'm quite superstitious, believe it or not. My first ever game at West Ham at Upton Park, my dad took me. It was 1975, 76. That was against Fiorentina, and we got beat 1-0. And it was the second leg. We got beat 1-0 in Fiorentina, and we got beat 1-0. And I remember crying because we got beat 1-0. I'd have been probably about 7 years old.
Right, yeah.
And Mervyn Day was the goalkeeper, and I remember him looking so crestfallen because he'd let this goal go in. And so for me, my first ever game at West Ham was losing to Fiorentina. So for me, that night in Prague was payback.
That's good symmetry, isn't it?
Payback.
Yeah, beautiful. Brilliant.
Come on,
that would have been Ireland.
Yes, indeed, definitely. Well, that's brilliant. I love that.
For those that say that it's a 2-bob cup and it don't really count for anything, you know what?
I love it.
I've seen us win an FA Cup times 2, 75 and 80. That night in Prague, that was real. For all you saying it's not a real cup, that was fucking real. It felt real for me.
Fuck it. I'll do it again next year, Kate. I'll be happy to do it again next year. You love it.
my son-in-law is a red scouser.
Wanker.
And I've already said to him, we're going to book a hotel for Dublin. West Ham Liverpool final, Europa Cup. You heard it here first, guys.
Well, I'm telling you now, guys. You know what, Kate? I'm confident we're knocking Leverkusen out. I'm confident.
Oh, we are.
So am I.
Oh, sorry,
I'm confident we're
So
good.
am I.
So
I think
I
we've
think we're
got
gonna
this
do
in the bag.
Yeah. Whether we ever, beat anyone else, don't matter. At the moment, it's Leverkusen. I think we can do it. Fuck 'em.
Yeah, the thing about West Ham is that on our day we can lose to anyone, but on our day we can beat any fucking one. And that's
Time to make history for Moyes. He wants to make history. Leverkusen ain't lost all year. Haven't lost all year, mate. Let's make some history. Let's do it, mate.
That's because I ain't played us yet, mate. That's because I ain't played us.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Now they just got 3-2 over Freiburg at the weekend. They won 3-2. Freiburg, we smashed them. Fucking Leverkusen, who are you? Don't you worry about that. Fucking knock you out, son.
Well, Freiburg gave Leverkusen a game, didn't they?
Yeah, 3-2 it was, Budge, to Leverkusen. But they gave them a game, mate. Scored 2 against them.
Leverkusen were.
Don't worry about that.
They were 2-1 down at one point.
So, yeah, we're having it, mate. We're having them.
Yeah.
Be confident.
Yeah,
right, that's it.
we love them.
Right, so as Happy Amaret says, please smash the likes in the chat. Like as you leave, if you like. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Happy for your moderation.
So many faces.
Any other moderators that are in the room. Trodge, for example.
Cheers, guys.
And thank you for coming in, Kate. It's been great.
Right,
lovely chat.
Thanks for inviting me. I've really enjoyed it. It's been nice to meet you.
Yeah, ain't happening again, Keith. Don't worry.
Next time I'll wear one of my referee shirts.
Yeah, mate. We can only have a referee in here once. For fuck's sake, man.
Look, I actually before I brought you on, I was actually going.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for coming on, Keith. That was good.
Great to speak to you, mate. Great to speak to you. I've watched you guys a few times now, and I do love you guys. You are the Statler and Waldorf of the West Ham channels.
Yeah, we're much better than all that other lot. They're fucking rubbish.
And Ernie,
we got the best intro, Geezer. Geezer, Budgie, we got the best intro of all the West Ham channels. Bollocks to whatever anyone else says. We have. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
And can I just leave you with this one last bit of completely useless information?
Yeah, go on.
I noticed somewhere in the chat earlier, someone when we was talking about Australia, somebody mentioned that budgies, of course, are native to Australia or to the Antipodes. And
right.
Did you know that the Latin name for budgerigar is Molopsitarchus undulatus? So I think that you can fit that.
Thanks for that, Keith. Now she's going to say that back until she's got it, and she's going to call me something like that now. Thanks for that, mate. That'll be
Molopsitarchus undulatus. So that now, Budgie, if you was playing for West Ham, imagine trying to fit that on the back of your fucking shirt.
I'd have to be about 8 foot wide.
shoulders like an American footballer.
It might be easier to just say Kookaburra. That's easy, mate.
Yeah, mate. I think we'll just stick with Budgie. Thanks for that, though. Right. So anyway, as I said, brilliant. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
All right. Laters.
Stick around. We'll have a chat in the green room afterwards. I'm just going to play this video out.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
That's all right, mate.
Catch you later, Kate.
Take it easy, everyone.
I've had a shitty week, so this is.